4 hours configuring AWS, 4 minutes on the railway. Same app. Railway removes the ceremony between writing code and running it in production. AWS asks you to configure VPCs, IAM roles, load balancers, Docker files before anything ships. Railway asks for a GitHub repo, and that is it. 3 steps, not 9. 35 people built this. Zero marketing dollars spent. Over 120 million raised. The gap between those two columns on the screen right now is the entire business of Railway. The last number, 35% team. Sit with it for a second, because it is the number that makes every other number feel almost impossible. Jake Cooper didn't fall in love with infrastructure. He got frustrated by it. 3 companies, Wolfram Alpha, Bloomberg, Uber, and at each one, the same pattern. Brilliant engineers losing days to configuration that had nothing to do with what they were actually building. His thesis: configuration is the enemy of shipping. The solution isn't to make config easier, it is to make it disappear. June 1, 2020. Railway launches. Picture your newest engineer. First week on the job, day 1, day 2, day 3. They haven't touched the product. They are in the AWS console trying to figure out what a VPC is. And that is a task. AWS has over 200 services. Most teams use 5: a server, a database, file storage, environment variables, and a deploy pipeline. The other 195 are cognitive overhead with a billing statement attached. Every one of those dimmed tags on screen right now is a thing your engineers need to know exists before they can ignore it. The quote on screen is from 2006. It is still true in 2026. And that's not a technology failure, it's a structural one. Every developer hour spent on infra is an hour that didn't ship product. At senior engineer compensation, that's $80,000 per person per year gone before a user sees anything. And the gap between feature done and feature live is pure configuration delay. Every sprint, that gap compounds while the competitor ships. And here's the trap. Solving it properly means hiring a DevOps engineer, a whole headcount who produces zero product value. So you either burn your engineer's time or burn a headcount. And most early startups do both. Railway is the savior and the third option. Here is what makes Railway business model genuinely interesting. The same pain, configuration overhead, shows up across 3 completely different customer segments, and each one has a different relationship to revenue. The solo founder finds Railway at 11 p.m. via a tweet, deploys in 4 minutes, and tells 5 people by Friday. That is Railway's acquisition engine. Zero ad spent. Compounding word of mouth. The seed stage CTO's team adopts Railway, and because billing is usage based, the spend grows automatically as the startup scales. That is expansion revenue. The product sells more of itself as the customers succeed. Third, the platform engineer comes in through sales or inbound. Highest ACV, longest cycle, but one enterprise contract justifies the entire motion. One product and 3 distinct revenue levers. 650 billion. That crossed out number is what the pitch deck says. Global cloud infrastructure total addressable market. Impressive, also relevant. The number that matters more is 25 million. That is how many developers haven't heard a Railway pitch yet. 3 million users have, with zero marketing spend, all word of mouth. That is only 89% of the addressable market, untouched, available to a company that has not bought a single ad. When your distribution engine is a happy user base that refers friends, you don't scale by spending more. You scale by keeping the product good. 3 steps, 12 years, one open market. Salesforce buys Heroku for 212 million in 2010, spends the next 12 years not investing in it. This kills the free tier in November 2022. 13 million developers, 90 days, nowhere to go. Railway was watching and Railway was ready. Heroku's original idea was almost offensively simple. Git push Heroku main. No servers, no upstream. You push code, it runs. By 2010, a 212 million acquisition from Salesforce. And here's the problem. Salesforce is a CRM company. Heroku is a developer tool. Not the same culture, not the same customer, not the same roadmap. Investment slowed. Innovation stopped. The rest of the industry kept moving. The timeline tells the story. 2007, Heroku launches, the simplest deployment experience in history. 2010, Salesforce acquires for 212 million. At the time, it felt like validation. The warning signs were visible. 10, 12 frozen years. Docker in 2013, Kubernetes in 2014, GitHub Actions, Circle CI, modern CI CD. The entire infrastructure industry transformed. Heroku was essentially unchanged. A product once a decade ahead now was a decade behind. And in August 2022, Heroku cancels the free tier, effective November 28. 13 million users, 13 million accounts, 90 days to find somewhere new. And that is the moment the market opened up and Railway was ready. November 28, 2022. Heroku kills its free tier, no wind down, a hard cutoff. Every app that relied on it goes offline the same day. For 13 million developers, which comprised of students, indie builders, early stage founders, this was not inconvenience, it was a forced migration. Find a new platform today. Railway gets 100,000 new signups that week. Zero ad spend, no campaign, just the right product in the right place at the exact moment 13 million people needed somewhere to go. As a PM, this is what a competitor created market opening looks like. One bad product decision by a dominant player can hand you years of growth. What happens when you decide that configuration isn't just a usability problem, it is the core enemy of developer productivity? The answer is you build Railway and then you bet the company on being right. Look at the left side, a Docker file, a CI/CD YAML, load balancer rules, environment config. Every one of these is a thing you have to write, debug, and maintain before a single user ever hits your app. Now look at the right, Railway up, 4 lines of terminal output, and your app is live. Railway does the left side's entire job automatically. It reads your repo, detects your language, framework, runtime, and start command in under a second. No file to write, no format to learn, no config to get wrong. The question isn't why Railway built this, the question is why it took until 2020 for someone to realize this. One click templates and a flywheel that pays for itself. Template authors on Railway earn 25% of every dollar their template generates. That one incentive means the marketplace grows itself. Better templates attract more developers, more deployments generate author revenue, more revenue attracts better builders. When a popular open source project adds a deploy to Railway button, Railway inherits that project's entire audience, zero acquisition cost. This is how you grow the top of the funnel without a sales team. The bet is working. The 3.5x year over year revenue growth, 15% month over month expansion, usage based billing means every growing startup automatically increases its spend without a sales call. 100 billion Series B led by TQ Ventures with angels, people like CEO of Versal, co-founder of GitHub, co-founder of Linear. Those are not random checks. Those are bets from people who built this category and know what traction actually looks like. In 2025, something changed that Railway had not planned for. The customers writing the most deployment commands on the platform were not humans anymore. They were AI coding agents, and Railway saw it before anyone in the industry had a name for it. Railway was built for humans. Dashboard first. Visual. Optimized for a person making decisions at a screen. That assumption broke in 2024. Agents don't use dashboards. They need API speed infrastructure, machine parsable errors, single call primitives, no UX, just primitives that compose reliably. And here's the thing, zero config design. Built to remove ceremony for humans, turned out to be exactly the right architecture for machines and agents. Railway did not accidentally build for agents. They built it so well for humans that agents moved in. The signal was hiding in the spend data. Over $200,000 in cumulative AI agent spend, tens of thousands of users managing Railway exclusively through agent actions, usage at 3 a.m., usage on Sundays, patterns that follow no human schedule because there is no human. When your platform's biggest spenders are AI systems that never sleep, you are not a developer tool anymore. You are the infrastructure for the new software supply chain. In 2025, Railway ships a model context protocol server. Now agents Claude, Cursor, GPT-4 can deploy to Railway through natural language. For instance, deploys to production, done. Scale to 4 replicas, done. Roll back the last deployment, done. No dashboard, no CLI, pure language. This wasn't a feature release, it was a positioning statement. Railway is the deployment layer for the agentic era of software. Here's the thing about Railway's zero config bet. Eliminating ceremony for humans was already the right architecture for machines. They did not pivot to agent native. The world caught up to what they had already built. Traditional developer clouds are dashboard first, human paced, optimized for someone learning an interface. Agent native means every action is a single API call, errors are machine parsable JSON, primitives composed without wizards. Railway had already built this for humans. Agents just moved in. Each row in that table on screen, it is the same product, two completely different users. 10 million deployments a month, $200,000 in AI agent spend and climbing. Railway didn't decide to go agent native, their users decided for them. And that's the rarest kind of product insight, not a pivot from strategy meeting, a signal you could not ignore in your own data. Now, the hard part. Railway is being squeezed from two directions at once. From below, reliability incidents that chip away at the developer trust. The one thing a zero config platform cannot afford to lose. And from above, enterprise requirements it does not yet meet, blocking the market move the 100 million was meant to fund. And three competitors are building structural advantages in the lanes Railway needs to win. This is where great product stops being enough. The brand promise of a zero config platform is exactly this. It just works. You remove the complexity so the developer never has to think about it. When the platform itself becomes the source of complexity repeatedly in a compressed window, it does not just cause downtime, it breaks the promise. The core value proposition collapses. Developer trust takes years to build. It can be gone in a weekend, and enterprise buyers don't evaluate you on your best days, they evaluate you on your worst ones. Enterprise procurement has a checklist. It is not flexible, it is not negotiable, and it does not care how much the engineering team loves the product. SOC 2, a formal SLA, SSO, private clusters, a sales rep who picks up the phone. Without these, the deal doesn't survive legal review. Full stop. Now here's the tension. Everything railway would need to add for that checklist is the opposite of what railway was became successful. Zero config, no contract, usage based, frictionless. That is not just a feature set, that's the product's identity. Adding enterprise control means deciding who railway is building for, and right now both answers cost something. The key message here isn't that railway has competitors. Every successful product does. The message is that each competitor has a structural advantage in a lane railway needs. Render owns the trust lane, an outage-free track record that becomes a sales pitch every time railway goes down. Fly.io owns the geography lane, 35 global regions versus Railway's single region default. For any latency sensitive app, that's not a feature gap, it's architectural. Model owns the AI lane. GPU first, purpose built for exactly the workloads Railway is trying to attract. Individually, none is fatal, but Railway is trying to fix reliability, build enterprise features, and expand into AI infrastructure simultaneously with 35 people, while each of these competitors focus on just one thing. Focus always beats breadth, and that is the threat. The fork is simple to describe and generally hard to navigate. Stay PLG. The community mode keeps compounding. Word of mouth keeps working. Zero config keeps getting better. Very real ceiling, but very real. Go enterprise, larger contracts, more sustainable revenue, a path past that ceiling. But every feature built for enterprise procurement is a feature not built for the developer experience that built all of this. Railway's competitive advantage has always been taste. Enterprise motion tends to erode taste. The 100 million buys time to figure out which path. The competitors are using the same time. 35 people, $120 million. That's either the most capital efficient cloud company alive or a team dangerously thin trying to deliver reliability fixes, enterprise features, agent tooling, and zero config work simultaneously. It might be both. Three possible futures one company has to choose, not by default, by decision. Zero config is proven. The community mode is real. Agent native is early and defensible. 3.5x growth, competitive market, $0 on marketing. This is what a series B of confidence looks like, not desperation. The foundation is solid. But 5 outages in 7 months are a trust problem, not a reliability problem. Those are different fixes. 35 people is heroic, but dangerously thin. Enterprise motion is completely unproven. And if agents become the primary revenue driver, stops being adjacent. Here's the unlock. If Railway becomes the default deployment layer for AI agents, not the 28 million human developers, but every AI system that ships software that is a different company at a completely different scale, the 100 million Series B is buying time to find out if that is real. Three futures. A. Agent native win. Railway becomes the default cloud for AI coding agents. MCP becomes the industry standard. Usage scales with machines that never sleep. New category, new valuation. Hard to execute, requires 99% reliability and real enterprise controls. But if it works, it's a different game entirely. Heroku's successor, 200 to 500 million ARR, profitable, developer beloved, the definitive indie and startup player, genuinely excellent outcome, not the generational one. The C, acquisition. A hyperscaler buys the community and the agent infrastructure, great for investors, complicated for the developers who choose Railway specifically because it wasn't owned by a company that didn't understand them. History rhymes. Railway's real competition isn't Render, Fly, or Modal. It's the AWS console. 12 years of muscle memory, organizational inertia. We use AWS because we have always used AWS. Railway doesn't beat that by out featuring it. Railway beats it by making the next generation of developers never learn the AWS console in the first place. The platform that captures the first deployment experience captures the career. Three things to steal from the story. Remove steps, not features. Railway's entire growth thesis is friction reduction, not capability expansion. Count the actions between what a user wants and what they have. Then compress that number every quarter breathlessly. Watch behavior, not stated preference. The AI agent use case wasn't in any user interview. It was hiding in spend data. Your next product chapter is already happening. You just have to look at the right signals. Third, find the vacancy. The best opportunities are abandoned incumbents with loyal, frustrated audiences. Heroku did not disappear, it left. Find the Heroku in your market. The company that made shipping simple is now betting on making shipping autonomous. With 35 people, 3 million developers, $0 in marketing, the most capital efficient cloud company alive, at the most consequential fork in its road.